You're listening to an Awkward Human podcast on the 5x5 network. If you want to find out more about this show and all the other cool stuff that we do, visit awkwardhuman.com. Hello and welcome to the Awkward Human Survival Guide. This week we're talking about
Cheese for breakfast.
Robot Dick.
and the Ring of Domination. Hello and welcome to the episode. I'm Adam Dodges.
I'm Erica Elson. We're joined today by Richard Cardenas.
We are?
Yes.
Where is he?
He's very small, but he's here. He's been shrunk into a box of
More,
donuts.
higher. Yes, he's maple flavored donuts today because that's what he wanted to be.
Yes. He decided to have his head shrunk and sweetened.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also joined by Anayat.
How's it going, gang?
Welcome
What's
back.
Yes.
What's the haps?
I don't know. Apparently you were on a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Another one. You're cheating on us.
Yeah. It's a podcast called Who's the A-Hole? Who's the Asshole? And the whole point is we have...
Is it a-hole or asshole?
Well,
Kind
if
of
you
like
look
a-hole.
for it on, it's A-Hole. It's Who's the A-Hole? A-hole. But the show is Who's the Asshole, where we dissect minor social squabbles in life to find out of the situation who was at fault.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not the asshole.
I can be.
Okay.
I can be.
Sometimes
I
you
haven't been
are.
yet.
Okay.
So I got some moral high ground right now.
Well, what's one of the squabbles you tackled on this show?
We've had a few of them. One of my favorite, though, was one where a guy was invited to a party, a friend of mine, and he went to the party in high school, and there was fraternity there, and before he could get into the party that his friend was hosting, that he knew, the fraternity was making sure everybody paid like an entrance. So he tried to get around it, and then they like surrounded him, and they were gonna beat him up, and then he pulled a knife on them. So it's like it got this weird escalation where like clearly a fraternity, anytime you bring up fraternity, they're at fault.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, it just got worse and worse and worse, and it was an onion of interesting asshole. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Where can people find this? It's usually
It's on iTunes.
they have a website or anything?
We do, I believe, but I don't know it.
You're doing this podcast regularly.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's out every...
I thought you were just on as a guest. Oh, so this is
No.
your deal.
No, well, kind of. I'm one of the hosts on it. It's not like my deal. Kevin Rice.
Yeah.
But
I
we
mean,
have
like,
a new one the beginning of every month, and then one on the 15th.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how I feel like it would be nice to do podcasts less often sometimes these days, just because it's so hard to get an episode out every week, which I'm sure people have noticed. But it's a lot of. I mean, like I gotta get 2 out every week, so it's
It's a lot.
it's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
we always try to like, specifically for the stories, it's trying to find people who have like a lot of them surprisingly are like in cars. You cut off, you follow somebody, like there's some weird ones. But yeah, it's always trying to find the story where whoever is at fault is a little bit more hard. It's not as to figure out. So,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun though. And it's short.
Cool.
It's usually like 10, 15.
I've just subscribed.
Who's
Boom.
the a-hole or asshole? It's up to you.
Yeah. Do I look right here?
When you're on camera, you can.
Okay.
But that's your camera.
I like that there's not too many
Erica's
episodes
on right now.
yet. I feel
Yeah.
like this is a good time to be jumping in because like I hear about podcasts sometimes and there's like 200 episodes.
I can
guess like our
subscribe while
show.
you're talking.
And then I'm like, I don't even know where to start with this. Like I should start with the most recent one because
Right.
I'll be current, but then I'll have missed all this information. So then I try to go back, but then another episode comes up while I'm catching up, and it's just like I like it when it's like it's just begun and I can just like listen to all of it.
Well, nice one. This one, it's not serial, so you can listen to anyone. The last one we had was pretty good about somebody stealing money out of one of those wishing wells.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who does that?
Assholes.
You gotta listen to the story because
Are you ever not?
Oh,
so
you think he's the asshole?
But
You have to listen to it. It's a lot more complicated.
well, that one I
I think
definitely.
it's called watered down wishes.
Leaving
Okay.
us intrigued.
Yeah.
I am intrigued for sure. Oh wow, you came up in the search right away. It knew. Okay, so you, on top of a whole podcast, you have a awkward story for us
I do.
about
I do.
porn.
Well, yes, it is about porn. So I have a gym in the building that I live in, an apartment gym, and there's always this one guy who's in it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy named Ken, And it's usually just him and I in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the kind of guy, to give you some backstory, like on the roof, he lounges around in a G-string, and he's not like fit, but he's not fat. He's just like, he's got a little pot belly, but he's, in good shape.
Like a dad bod, or
better than a dad.
Okay.
He's
like skinny fat?
Yes, but it's like he's not fat.
Like skinny chub.
He just can't. I don't think he has the ability to get
He's
abs.
not toned.
I don't think he can get abs.
Right.
Just don't think.
Okay.
And when he's down in the jacuzzi, people have sworn he's been naked. Like, he's very much an exhibitionist.
Okay.
We got this, and when he's at the gym, he always wears these tiny little shorts and no shirt. I don't know why, but I just assumed he was gay because he's always appearance and he's wearing nothing at all. And when he wears clothes,
Ken.
it's very... Huh?
His name's Ken.
His name's Ken. When he wears clothes, it's very, like, sexy-looking clothes. I just assumed, like, which I don't care, but it was annoying.
Well, I would hope not if you were here.
But it annoyed me that he was so, like, about, like, showing off his body.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's had complaints about it because it's a building with their kids. So I was at the gym, him and I, and he never wore a shirt at the gym, which always bugged me, but I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't use his equipment.
It's not my choice either, but you get hot. I get it.
I feel like it's a little unfair because men can just take their shirt off if they get hot, but women can't do that.
Well,
So
and in normal
technically
gyms,
you
you're not
can.
supposed to.
No, you actually... Well, it depends on the gym's rules, but it's not illegal for you to go shirtless or topless or let your boobs fly free, but you're not going to want to do that on a treadmill.
no,
Well,
I'm not.
and in this gym, it's small. Like, it's not a huge gymnasium. It's really like 5, 6, 7 machines, there's 2 televisions. Small room, right? And so there's a little pillar between him and I. I'm on the treadmill and he's on the elliptical. And he always is watching TV while he reads the paper, and he has an iPad on. And the TV's loud. It's always sports, and I was like, why is this guy into sports? But whatever. And so I'm on the treadmill, and I look over, and he's not looking at the TV. He's looking at his iPad, and it's porn. And it's a guy having his dick out, and he's hitting this woman on the side of the face. And the first thing I thought was like, I thought he was gay. That's the first thing that went in my head. Like, that's straight guy porn. But it's like it keeps cutting, and then he's choking this woman. It's like hardcore.
Oh, wow. That's
porn.
not okay to be watching.
No.
Like,
well, no
it's
amount of
porn.
porn should be watched at the
porn.
gym.
no, but
It's
especially that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've experimented with watching porn while exercising before, not in public, but
This guy was doing it straight up in public.
But I
just
thought-
me and him, but still.
I thought that, like, if I was aroused, it would be distracting from the exercise, and when I was, like, on the bike.
Yeah. Well, and like, why would you want to put all the blood there? The whole point is it's supposed to go to your extremities so you can, work
Yeah,
out.
I didn't want a boner. I just wanted to be, like, mildly aroused. I wanted something to look at.
Well, that sounds like your thing.
Well, no,
And
well,
maybe that's the thing he's into too.
Well, no, I was trying to figure out if that would work, because this is not that, but the one time I was most distracted from exercise was watching, I think episode 7 of season 1 of Damages. I think it was episode 7. It's towards the end when stuff about Rayfus comes out, which is, I think that actor whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce right now is wonderful, but not arousing. So that goes to how good that season of the show was to me. However, I thought, okay, well, what's something that's more predictable, and like I can't watch that again and have that same engagement. So what if I put some porn on, or like found some erotic looking non-porn thing to watch that would get me turned on, but not have the blood flowing down to my crotch.
Right.
So
you're talking about like just engagement in what you're watching, so you can work out easy.
Yeah, just something to distract me, and I thought that's the easiest thing that will always work because my body's stupid. So I figured I'll give that a try, but the problem is it was either boner or not good enough, so I just kind of gave up.
If you're a guy,
Plus now I work out
specifically if you're a
outside.
guy, but if you watch porn semi-regularly, you kind of like you know when you're ready to pop off, and when you're just not really.
Yeah.
So you're just watching it.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't.
You're just like, this is.
It's a binary for it.
Exactly.
And that doesn't really work with exercise.
So,
at least it was for me. I don't know. Maybe it works for somebody else. But this
maybe work for this dude.
Yeah, but either way, he shouldn't be doing that.
Right. So I caught him, and first I was like, maybe I should let it go. But I would have. But all that culmination of him like being an
I don't think you should let
exhibitionist
it
in
go.
public, and because I had my nephew up on the roof running around, 3, and he ran into him while he's like sunbathing, basically nude, and the guy just like looks over and pulls his sunglasses down like a 90s movie and then puts them back up. Didn't even like...
Was his dick up or his ass up?
No, his dick was up.
Oh, wow.
His whole body's there.
Damn.
But like you couldn't see his stuff, but this little kid, 3-year-old, doesn't know what he's looking at. So I'm like, okay, the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think objectively speaking, it's bad for kids to see nude people. I think it's a problem for sex. Maybe that's a whole nother debate. I think like in a vacuum, there are a lot of these things that we're talking about are not that bad. The porn part is another story, but the especially because it was violent. But it's like in America, especially, but in society, like you can't just. There's a reason that we have social norms. Some of them are intrusive and problematic, but generally speaking, you wouldn't want your nephew to get the idea. Kids shouldn't get the idea that it's like, yeah, I can just be naked whenever I want.
Well, that didn't bug me as much as it was that in culmination when every time I was at the gym with him, I was listening to the whatever news it was the sports stuff, loud, super loud. So when I wanted to watch news, I turn it up pretty loud. He was also reading the paper, and he'd throw the paper on the ground.
Do you each have individual TVs or something?
There's just 2 TVs in the room.
Okay.
I would either have one, and he'd have one. And his was always jacked up loud. You couldn't even listen to your iPod. Like, it was just too loud. But then he had all these other things bugging him with the iPad, and then...
I don't get why people don't wear headphones. I hear people blasting their music out of their cars all the time with the windows down.
Or don't care who... Turn it off and read your newspaper.
Yeah,
don't do all of them at once.
Yeah, and you can't wear headphones on a car. So I didn't mean it like that, but like...
All these things just culminated. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. So I got off my thing. I walked over to him, and I was like, hey, man, don't do that down here. Just very casual. Like, hey, man, don't do that down here. And then he did this thing that pissed me off. His face was incredulous. He's like, what? What are you talking about? And I was like, then I just lost it. I was like, hey, man, you're watching fucking porn in a public space.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit down here. Women come down here and use this space. So do other people. Don't do that here.
Yeah, I don't
and
think
he's like...
What does it matter if it's I guess women's
like
getting beat up, but...
Well, and I mean, it's porn that's violent against women.
And it's
so
it's
yeah, that's true.
Like, if it's some guy that I'd never seen before.
But no one should have to watch that.
No.
Adult or not, like...
It was ridiculous.
It's like, if people... I mean, first of all, I'm pretty sure that's not legal. And second...
No, it's not.
It's also just disrespectful. Like, why are you blasting violent porn in
and
a
it's
gym?
non-consensual. You're being involved in something, in a sex act of his, not a particularly problematic one, but like he's involving you in his sex life in whatever way that is. I don't entirely understand without your consent.
Well, what pissed me off most about it was just disrespectful, and it's it's disrespectful on top of the way he always conducts himself down there is super difficult. When he listens to the music cranked up or the new stuff really cranked up loud, and all that shit pissed me off. And so when I saw that, I was like, I have something that I've never had, which is the moral high ground with this guy. Because like, what's he gonna do? Nothing. He could do nothing. So I yell at him.
Well, they find a way.
Oh, I yelled the shit. I bawled this guy out, and he just like went blank face. He's just but because obviously he has nothing to say.
Sure.
So I went back to my thing. I didn't kick him out, but I was like, all right, just don't do that. I'm like, if you want to go do that shit upstairs, don't do that down here. I don't want to see you doing that again. And I leave him just stuttering to himself. I go back and I finish my exercise. He doesn't leave, which you think he would if he was smart. He'd be like, I probably should leave.
Yeah.
So instead, he stays, finishes exercise. He goes into front of the mirror and starts doing his crunches. And I'm doing my push-ups, and when I look up, I can see through the mirror, he's looking at me like a chihuahua while he does his crunches, super freaked out. And I was like, this is
I thought he was going to turn the porn back on.
No, I would have lost it, man. I would have lost it. So he's freaking out. He's freaked out by me. And the best part about the story is now I ran into him today. I have this I'm a cloud. Anytime I'm walk by, he like looks at me and he looks down immediately. So
you could seriously the first person that went up to him and told him not to do this?
Well, I don't think did it. I don't think he knew. He forgot that I was in there. Because again, like he's in his own world. He's got this TV blasting. He's got all this shit in front of him. I was the only one.
How are people that unaware?
But even if there was actually no one in the gym, I can never imagine being like, oh, there's no one here. I'll just put on
I'll
some
just put on
porn.
some porn.
Probably
Yeah.
no one will walk in.
Well, and that
you
was
know?
the
Especially
thing.
like
Why
that.
watch porn while you work out? What are you getting? Is that like
And
an
also, you're in
aspirational
your
thing?
apartment building. If you're that horny, just go upstairs.
What if he wanted to get caught? What if you did something?
Wow.
What if this is turning him on?
So the story got like I went and told the super because I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to, but then I was like, this guy, like I'm tired of him taking liberties here.
Well, this is it.
And he's been
It drives me crazy how polite I am, how polite other people are in situations like this, where it's like someone is doing something that is problematic in general for people. It's not about shaming their interests or anything like that. It's that this is indecent and it's not something that you should be doing out in public. And it's something that, I always feel bad saying this sort of thing because it's like, oh, well, people thought that about gay people and interracial relationships. And many other things for a long time. And so that, I don't want to be the guy that is saying like something is indecent because it just reminds me of that. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I think I don't think it has anything to do with the content itself other than that it is sexual in nature and it's not okay to involve someone in your sexual behavior without asking.
Hubris. It's just like,
yeah,
I run this place.
In the same way, you wouldn't blow smoke in someone's face if you're not an asshole.
You're asking to get your ass kicked. The best thing I got out of this was that when I went to the super, I was like, look, here's what I want. I want a sign in the gym that says shirts on, always. That's what I want out of this. And she's like, okay. And she put it on there. He didn't wear the shirt one day. And I walked in, and he was sitting there working out, not wearing the shirt. And I looked at the sign, I looked back to him, and he had a shirt, because he's not an idiot. He brought one, and he immediately put it back on. And I was like, yes. From now on, forever, since you stay in this building, you wear that goddamn shirt.
I feel like this could very easily have been the first page of an erotic story.
Maybe. Maybe.
But
it could have
we'll
veered
see
off
where
a
it
totally
goes.
different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the third
Maybe
encounter,
it still is
he's
for this guy.
He's like, "What will you do to me if I don't put it on?"
Well, you know what's weird? I know where his apartment is, and when I walk by it, you can see that he has red lights inside his building, in his room. So all of his room, he has.
It's very weird.
His desk, he has normal lights, but like the upward lighting, he's changed to red bulbs.
That's generally not a healthy thing.
And it's weird. It's just,
it tends to
it
make you a little
feel
nuts.
like there's going to be some sort of like Turpin family situation going on.
Oh, does he live with people?
I don't know, but I know that
I would hope not.
I know that when he walks into when he unlocks his door and he pops it open, he immediately turns off the alarm, which I think is weird for an apartment building to have. Like, he's the only one who has an alarm.
See, now I'm thinking he's doing something bad in there that he doesn't want people to know about.
I feel like there's something weird going on.
Sex dungeon?
This is to say, maybe.
Well,
He's Christian Grey.
I'm not allowed to tell this story, but oh well. Someone I know owned an apartment building in the past. I'm gonna be. I think I've actually told this on a podcast before, but I'm not. I was asked that not to tell it, but I'm gonna. I still to this day don't understand why, and I'm not gonna mention anybody by name. Anyway, someone I know owned an apartment building who and rented it by accident, without knowing, to a child porn creator, I guess. And so this gets found out, and are you admiring Senator Mitch McConnell in drag?
Oh yeah.
On the wall over there?
Is that Mitch McConnell? I thought it was Mick Mulvaney.
No, we have Mick Mulvaney, but he's not on the wall.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to try.
Oh no, that's okay. Anyone who's interested in seeing this can go to our shop, awkwardhuman.com/shop. Go check it out, and you can find all the Trump administration in drag. We got.
Oh, who's that?
What's his name? My new favorite. God, why can't I remember his name? Rick Perry.
Oh yeah, that is Rick.
I'm actually coming around on him a tiny bit. He's not as big of a douchebag as he's made out to be, I think. I can't say that for anyone else, but when he was just, God, and I don't want to keep talking about. I feel like I'm like Rick Perry's. I don't know, someone who says nice things about people.
You mean his
evangelist?
His PR?
Yeah,
PR person?
I feel like I'm going every time I think about Rick Perry. I'm like, oh, he's not so bad. I mean, he is.
Well, in context right now.
Yeah, Yes, in context. But I mean, like, he's actually trying his best to do his job that he knows he's not qualified to do and has, like, outwardly admitted, which was impressive to me. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, and making them all into drag queens was just something that I thought would be fun. It's not to embarrass anybody. I think drag is cool.
I do enjoy the Mitch McConnell. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that one, that was a collaboration. Rick Perry I did myself. I'm going to do Donald Trump myself. I did Alex Jones myself. There are a few that I just wanted to save. I actually am surprised I didn't do Mitch McConnell because I don't like him. Maybe that's why. I just didn't want to do... I don't want it to be silly. I want to be like, here, here's
the most realist version of this, maybe.
It's like if they get upset or offended by it or anything like that, then that's on them. My goal is not with these was never to like offend anybody or say like I like drag.
First Amendment.
And I'm gonna show you a side of something that is. Who's probably never see it, but I'm gonna show a side of something that you think is stupid and I think is great, and I'm gonna involve you in it. But so in some ways it's a little bit like I'm picking on them a little bit for their belief system, but on the other hand, it's not like a malicious thing. It's kind of a weird thing I decided to do. Yeah. But anyway, what were we talking about?
Well, you were gonna tell a story, but you didn't really get into it yet about someone holding.
Oh, right, the child porn and the. Anyway, visit the shop, you guys. So he got caught and was kicked out, and I wish I remember
what?
For making child porn.
Oh, okay.
Like I think there was some sort of report, and then the police raided, and there's like it looked like a daycare center, but with dildos. Jesus. Yeah, it was messed up. I mean, I never saw it. This is how it was kind of described to me. The person, no. Someone I know owned the building,
right,
and rented it to this guy, not knowing what he was doing.
Right.
Then found out, or someone found out and called the police. I don't remember which. And then he got evicted, obviously. But he escaped before he was arrested. Really? So he comes back a year later and tries to rent the apartment with one digit different in his social security number. Now, the person who owned the building didn't remember him.
Right.
But was like, but felt, because they didn't like hang out or see each other very often. It was like over a year since they had actually seen each other. Because he lived there for a year, then got kicked out, then came back a year after. But he's like, I got a weird feeling this guy seems like somebody, and then figured out, oh, it's the same guy. And then called the police on him, but I don't know what happened.
Building, so he was just one guy and a bunch of different people?
It was probably, yes, but it was probably like out of 8 people in the building. The buildings were never that big.
You can't tell me that he doesn't. I mean, if I'm owning an 8 unit building, one guy, this happened, and I was like, that motherfucker's staying in my building? Eviction. I'm remembering.
Oh.
I'm going to remember that.
Okay, so this is one of many buildings, and I can promise he definitely did not know.
Okay. If you're like a mogul, this guy's probably not even involved in it.
No, I'll tell you more about it later.
Okay, all right.
I can tell you why I know sure that he didn't know.
All right.
I mean, I guess I can't ever know that for sure, but I'm, it would have gone very differently.
Plus, also just changing your social security one number, like when they run your social security,
so stupid.
They're gonna find out that you're not whoever that person is.
This was a long time ago. But they just reminded me of that, and it's like I don't know what this guy's doing. It doesn't necessarily strike me as child porn, but it seems like he's doing something weird. I mean, he's obviously very careful about people getting in there, and
I don't think that. I just think he's into like it seems like he's just into like rough porn, which whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe
he was doing it in public.
He might be making videos in there. I mean, like if he has red lighting, he doesn't want people to get in.
His job is in IT. That's all I know.
Yeah, but maybe his job in the evening is a little different.
Yeah, I know. Maybe
he was trying to start off a cam site.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we saw, we went to the Hump Festival. There was, Erica, wasn't there like this guy and girl who were kind of dressed up like unicorns, and he was like choking her with his dick, and it was really gross.
Maybe.
I mean, it was. When I say I don't want to say anybody's sex life is gross, but this was. I mean, I find it disgusting to see, like in. God, I don't know how to say this with the right words. when like someone's coughing up mucus because they were choking on a penis, like that's not attractive to me. I just find that I just really would like a warning if that's going to happen so I can not look at it. Like if they're into it, fine. I'm not. If no one's getting hurt, fine. I really am okay with everybody doing anything that's where everybody's consenting and it's cool. But I really don't want to watch that without like if I would just have liked a warning in that screening, like, hey, this is gonna involve people coughing up mucus. But obviously, like if you have a porn festival where people send stuff in and they decide to show it, not entirely sure why they picked that one, other than it was, with
was
like
it mucus or was
they
it
were all
bile,
they were
right?
like
'Cause it's
it was
just-
like a Lisa Frank porn
What's a Lisa Frank?
what Lisa Frank is that like really colorful sticker and
from the late 90s.
yeah, for girls. I did Anne Frank in Lisa Frank style once because a friend of ours suggested that. Well, she didn't suggest it. She said sometimes I get them confused and it's terrible.
I gotta look up Lisa Frank now.
And so I made Lisa Anne Frank, which is very offensive and no one should ever see it.
Okay, we should get to questions.
We should.
Does anyone want to eat part of Richard?
Oh, I've already had part of Richard, and as I regularly do. But make sure you save one part of Richard so he can transform back into a human being later.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2.5 parts of Richard left, so.
Okay, so Naya, do you want a piece of Richard before we get into questions?
I think I'm alright for now. I might dabble later.
All right.
Oh, this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a rainbow on acid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this.
For children.
Our first question comes from Murray Chad Michael, perhaps a cousin of Chad Michael Murray, who is a 27-year-old heterosexual male. Good afternoon, awkward humans. I have rubbed my dick raw and am in need of assistance. Do not fret, I have ointment. This is a purely existential crisis. My relationship with my lady is that of a dom sub nature in which I am the sub. Our arrangement works like it does for many in the community, insofar as we keep our sex in the home and go about our lives as a standard American couple in all other situations. Almost, but not quite. I also use a consent ring that I wear when I'm open to being dominated, and she wears a horny charm bracelet when she wants to tell me that she's down to fuck. We have our rules and limits, but the ring and bracelet gives us a way to ask for what we want and give consent without words. That's a turn on for both of us. Rawr! My lady went on a snowboarding trip with her girlfriends to celebrate International Women's Day. I stayed home and masturbated. One of our rules is that I'm not allowed to masturbate outside of her presence. She knows I'm a weak bitch who will give in to his desires anyway, and she punishes me for it. To my delight, of course. But I have overdone it this time and chafed my dick. I will be punished if she sees it. She knows the raw red marks of my indiscretion intimately. As much as I enjoy her inventive punishments, I would like to allow my dick time to heal. On the other hand, the punishment for this could be sublime, and she will take my safety into account, as she loves me and I love her. I'm excited by this prospect, and yet I find myself concerned that perhaps I am thinking with my damaged dick and not with my brain. My question is this: do I wear the ring for her return or not? I will follow whatever advice you bestow upon me. Either way, I win.
Well,
What's a consent ring?
That's a ring he wears to show that he's down to do whatever.
If the ring's on, she can dominate him. If the ring's not on, he
Is
can't.
it like a
I've never heard of
penis
this before.
ring,
I actually,
or it's a hand ring.
I believe
hand ring.
I believe it's got to be a hand ring, so because the dick's probably not hanging out anytime.
Right.
I mean, I think that's actually a really good idea. But the
It's like a green light.
as for which one, it sounds like you really want to get punished, so go for it.
Dude, I'd give yourself some time to recuperate. I mean, right?
Well, is she going to punish the dick, though? That's really the question. If she's not going to punish the dick and he's got to, like, lick her boots or something, like, that would have been useful information here. But
Yeah. I just feel like
if it's not dick-related, then maybe, like, put something on it and say and just
Like a sock?
wear the ring, and then when she sees it and she asks you what it is, you just, like, I masturbated too much. I need to be punished. And if it's bandaged up, then, she can't really get to the dick.
Or just don't wear the ring. I just feel like don't wear the ring and be like, hey, you know what? I fucked up. Punishment for sure. But, like, let's kick it down a week. Just
Or
to give myself
2 days, maybe.
Yeah, to give myself some time to, like, get back to zero, get back to normal. And then we're good.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna, I don't know how you end up coming, Murray, but it's I'm not sure when that happens, but like if you're not gonna be able to come for a while you're waiting for your dick to heal, then maybe I'm not sure what advantage you. I guess I mean like it's hard for me to get into the place of submissive BDSM on this level because it's not my thing. So I don't know if this like what kind of erotic pleasure you get out of doing stuff where you're not having an orgasm. Not that everyone needs to have an orgasm every time you have sex, but it's when like I mean I don't know if you'll be okay if it's better to wait a week or to have a week of no orgasms.
Well, and like if right now,
but with the sex, I mean.
Yes, but right now your dick looks like road rash. I mean, like why just destroy it and then you're gonna have to then you're gonna have to go to the store and buy ointments. Like that's your
he already
life
got the ointment.
Week. Okay, well then like that's the thing is you're already down that road. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean
you're already down the road rash road. Let it heal. That way you can jump back on the bike.
Well, my opinion is basically like let her punish you if it's not going to involve your dick, and it's not going to be a problem if you get an erection, and even if you're not touching it, like if you can be safe and recuperate properly, then go for it. If it's going to cause you more pain, and that may be something that you want or enjoy, but I mean like you don't want to not be able to use your dick later. So if it needs time to recover, let it recover. If it doesn't need time to recover, because you won't be using it in these punishments.
Maybe she can peck him.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think something to note is like, okay, let's say they don't have sex. If this guy's still going to jerk off, then he's just going to make it worse.
Sure.
So, like, as long as he knows, as long as it's a universal, like, look, needs some time to heal, then I think he's good. But if you're still going to fuck with it, then that's on you.
Yeah, and I mean, you can ask her, and if you don't want to ask her because you guys don't like talking about stuff that much, and like to do it with jewelry instead, then I guess take the ring off if she tries to go for your dick or something. But I mean, I feel like you should be able to talk about this. Like, hey, you're gonna have to punish me later, but I need time to heal. Like you were saying,
relationship is up to this level where you're like this much communication, which is good. Like then this should be a slam dunk.
Yeah. So I think work it out with your girlfriend.
Kick it down a week, bro. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Wait a week, let it heal, then do all the crazy stuff you want.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're not here to help with this one so much as he wanted to like be like, hey, guess what my life is like.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like, braggadocious.
Yeah, but who's to say? It strikes me as that a little bit, maybe, but we don't know you. Murray. Anyway, our next question comes from Cynthia, who says very concisely, I want to fuck a sex bot if Siri was a real man and had a body with a rock hard cock. How? We fucking buy one. Have sex with it.
Drop down some money.
Well, is there Siri with a dick?
Well, I think she just means like Siri as in like a robot voice. Like
she wants to fuck like a digital assistant with a body.
Yeah.
Which you could totally do. I mean, you could put a Google Home inside of a body, like a synthetic doll. I mean, is it Real Doll? Is Real Doll the company that makes sex robots? Because those ones actually like talk to you and shit.
Oh, really?
I don't know if they can look up on Wikipedia, but
could you like press a button and be like, I want you to say this, and then they would like say the things that you want to hear?
Yeah, I mean, you could put an Amazon tap in there, but it's going to sound like a woman. And you just press the button if you want to. If you got a Google Home, you can set the voice to a guy, and then just plug the bot in and sit on it, and then you can be like, every time you want something, you just say, I'm not going to do it. It's like hello, Google. But with the word hey instead of hello, because I don't want to set anyone's speakers off, because people do that on YouTube all the time, and it drives me nuts. You could stick one of those inside a sex doll that you get online, and then plug that into the wall, and then there you go.
Well, I think she's more into, it's not the talk back thing. I think it's more the bot, right? Like
But then it would just be a sex doll. Like it's got to be if she wants Siri. I mean, I don't know how we could possibly understand what she wants with that.
I feel like she just wants sex dolls. But then she says robot, so I really don't know what the bot part of it. Like, does it move? Does she want it to move? I'm sure.
I think she wants it to move.
I'm sure there's like sex robots where you can like take off the penis, turn it on, and it like does something, and you pop it back in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know. I made that up. If it's not real, get on it.
I don't know. I've never known Real Doll to make men. Let me make sure they're actually called Real. Yeah, they are. Okay. And I mean, like, this is what you're talking about is Real Doll.
But I remember
but
on
I've
HBO,
I bet they'll make
real
men.
sex series. I remember watching that as a kid. That had one episode was about like dolls, and they had dude dolls. So I'm sure there's some.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely have them. It's more of like there are not many companies making ones that are literal sex robots.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna move and stand.
But these are
up,
like $10,000. These Real Doll.
Oh.
No, but Real Doll can. It can.
Oh, okay.
It can stand up. It talks to you.
Well, Cynthia, do you have
That's
$10,000?
why would anybody want that? Like, it could
That's
kill
what
you.
Cynthia
A
wants.
lot of people want them. They're making a bunch of money.
Ugh.
I mean, the thing is, it's like if they were like the prostitute robots in AI, that movie, we'll just call it that movie. I'm not going to comment on it. Like that was, basically human. If they come across as pretty much human, or it would be like, fucking a CG cartoon or something like that. Like I can get that. It's just that they seem so fake, like uncomfortably fake.
Well, it's like the uncanny valley, right? Where it's like
Well, it's not even that. It's like
real enough.
It hasn't even
not
made
real.
it. No, it's not even. It's like it hasn't even made it to the uncanny valley yet. It's this. I feel like they're. And the weird thing is, like, I do a lot of stuff in voice synthesis, and it's not. Like the voice synthesis. The voice synthesis. I should just use the voice synthesis. The voice synthesis that they use in Real Doll is not good compared to like Ivona's technology, for example, which is what Amazon uses and now owns. I mean, that's excellent. Google's DeepMind is phenomenal. Lyrebird is well, I mean, I guess people who've listened to this show, if you've listened to the episode entitled "The Awkward Robot Survival Guide," you know what Lyrebird sounds like. I did 3 voices of my own using their technology and made a 20-minute podcast out of it. It's like it's impressive. You can tell they're all fake, but it's not off-putting.
Yeah.
This is off-putting. This is like, I don't know if you remember text-to-speech back in like before the Macintosh came out, but like on an Apple II GS or something. It kind of reminds me of that.
My name is Harmony. I was created by Robotics. My main objective is to be a perfect companion.
Better than that, obviously, but it reminds me of that.
So what's the website? Real Doll?
Real Doll. Yeah, we'll link to it in the show notes. But
Online sex dolls. Yep.
I think this is not a thing you're going to be able to fulfill,
So they
Cynthia.
look like Barbie dolls.
Unless she's
without
rich.
unless you have a lot of money. Yeah, the dolls actually look fine. It's just when they start moving and stuff, we just haven't gotten to a place where
It says these dolls are $99.
they look like it's like fucking a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, but it looks human until it starts moving, which is how I feel a lot about CG animation. A lot of the time it feels human. It looks realistic, and then it moves, and it's just like that's not how a person moves. I think the biggest problem with most rendering and computer graphics is that they don't take into account physics and muscles and like how that there's not a lot of effort put into that part, and so it just comes across as the movements come across as really fake. And I don't like playing games or watching anything where the movement's wrong. Like if the movement's good, it can look fake. It just feels more real to me. I don't know if other people are like that. I don't hear anyone talk about this ever, so I have no idea. But I do think that is a huge part of it. It's the motion. It's the uncanny valley comes from things like bad skin texture, light not.
I mean, this looks pretty
refracting
ridiculous.
properly. Oh yeah.
I mean, like obviously that's a fake, and like the fingers.
Proportions are
The
really
fingers
off.
are like 3 inches too long.
Yeah. So, and you apparently work with them to design these. So, I don't know why we haven't interviewed them. I should see if I don't think we've actually tried to get them for an interview, but I'm gonna have to do that.
It's like that movie, The Island, the Michael Bay movie.
So that's yeah. I mean, it's just I don't think the technology is quite there yet. They're definitely working hard at it. You could talk to them. Maybe something you can save up for.
Why is her torso so short and her limbs so long?
Well, that might have been what they wanted.
Somebody
Why?
wanted
That one looks like a child
with
though.
17-inch fingers.
See, like that I've known people, well, I guess this was in Canada, but someone got convicted for ordering a child sex doll from Japan. And so I would think that, I mean, first of there's so many reasons that is a confusing thing to sort through. I think most people just go straight to put him in jail, but it's like, okay, so what if this doll wasn't going to it was going to keep him from fucking actual children? Would you rather he had the doll, or would you rather he had nothing? I mean, I don't understand where people come from all the time on child molestation anger. I mean, I get it because it's bad, but I don't understand how people think about it.
Kind of looks like a mom.
I know.
Oh,
Sorry.
it does. Yeah.
I've gone down.
Well, this is the thing.
hole.
You can have a
All
doll
these
for
weird,
anything.
Creepy pictures of.
Oh
This
yeah.
one guy has a doll.
We'll be sticking those
posed
on the
back of
video of the show.
back of some boat where in rural Mississippi or something.
Yeah, I know
looking
people
like
date them. They have
Like
personalities that
Lars and
remember
the real
you.
girl.
Looking like a Bud
Yeah,
Light
but with
mom.
a voice.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it's you know, and you know what? If you can afford it and that's what you want for yourself, and it's not causing, I mean, like, I would hope, I would stop there and say, like, go for it. But I would hope people that are doing this are you know, mentally healthy otherwise, or completely, and this is just what they're into. But if it's to avoid human contact or whatever, I think that's probably not a good thing.
It's a little like Westworld, especially this one where they have a woman taking the face off of one of them.
Oh, weird.
That's straight up Westworld.
Yeah, that's a little creepy. But yeah, I mean, I just to finish up the child sex doll thing, like, wouldn't you guys rather have someone fucking the sex doll than potentially fucking a kid?
I mean, I suppose if those are my options, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, because I think they made it illegal to draw child pornography. This was like 10 years ago or something. But I'm like, what? I get that you don't want these people, you don't want to encourage child sex, and I think people think it's like a gateway drug. But what are they got to jerk off to something. Like, they can go into the gas station and buy Tiger Beat or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, if they want to see children getting fucked, let them draw it.
I mean, I'm not.
Don't distribute it. Make it illegal to distribute.
I'm not going to be the arbiter of what they should or shouldn't do. But like, if that's what your inclinations are, there are places that'll help you. Like, to hopefully try to.
No, they're not. That's the problem. Is that
Aren't
these
there?
people? No, you have to be reported to the police if you say you've had these feelings.
But can't
There's
they go
nowhere
and
they can get help.
I'm sure there's like, I guess you'd have to like go yourself and like pay to get.
Yeah, but therapists have to report you. Everyone has to report you if you say this. That's the biggest problem with this, is that they can't get help. And
So even if someone has never downloaded child porn, has never acted on it, or
Yep.
done anything that's considered wrong in any way,
if you tell someone you're put on a list, I mean, if you tell someone who's obligated to report you, which is technically supposed to be everybody, but I mean, I don't know how that, I don't think you have a legal obligation as a citizen, but if you're a therapist, if you're a cop, if you're anybody with professional rules surrounding potential harm reporting, then yes, you have to report a child molester in the unit, or someone who's interested in children or says they're interested in children. It's a bad system, because at that point, then your life's under scrutiny and all this stuff. And yes, we don't want kids to get molested, but
yeah,
that's not going to
rough
stop.
Because like if someone's like, I want to steal things, I feel like I'm a kleptomaniac, but I've never acted on it, and I don't want to go to jail. Someone would probably help them
Yeah,
to
exactly.
stop doing that and not go to jail.
Yeah, I'm not saying like someone says I've molested a kid.
Of course,
help
but
me.
someone's like, I don't want to act on this. I've never
Yeah,
downloaded porn. I've
exactly.
never done anything. Can you help me like not feel this way?
Those people should get help. That they should not have to be reported if they do anything that gives the therapist a feeling. And this is obviously something that could get exploited in the wrong way, but we got to start somewhere. If they give a therapist a feeling that they're going to do something bad, then yes, the therapist should report them, but they should be able to go see somebody who can help them, that will be on their side, because everybody should be on the side of kids not getting molested. And if that means that they can draw some uncomfortable pictures that no one else has to see, or they can order a sex doll that no one has to see or know about. And furthermore, with the sex dolls, if the government wants to do this, which I don't know how I feel about this in particular, but you could track people who order these and keep an eye on them. So in a lot of ways, that just seems like a better way to catch people.
Yeah, creating a database.
Yeah, and find these people ordered it. You know, any contact that they have with kids, or if they go near a school or anything like that, if any red flags show up, now I think this is a road to disaster probably, but you know, if you wanted to at least collect data like who commits a crime after ordering a child sex doll or who doesn't, then you'd at least know if these things are helping or hurting. But there's a lot of data that could be collected. There are a lot of laws that could be made around this to learn about it, because ultimately we're not going to solve the problem if we just keep putting these people in jail. You got to wait for them to offend, or you got to use entrapment
at the same time,
procedures.
times are changing. When I was a kid, I used to draw guns and knives on the sides of in the margins of my book, just because I played video games. I was trying to come up with cool knife gun combinations. If I did that now, best know I would have been reported at school, and I would have gotten in trouble.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. It's a hard thing, because I obviously wasn't crazy. I didn't shoot anybody up, and I wouldn't think that. But at the same time, there's that guy who does that, and then that's the next step for him. So I think right now people are just trying to have a hard time. They're having a hard time figuring out what's the best solution, and none of them are good. But we'll fail our way to finding.
Well, that's why I'm a little worried that we won't, because we keep going, and it's very easy to run on a political position of fuck child molesters. I mean, not really, but
that's just
but
that's
harder
political.
Well, exactly.
You wouldn't take that. I would take that.
Yeah, but
I do.
Yeah, but if people are using that to get to get votes, then the harsher they make those laws, eventually it gets to a point where you can't make them harsher without them being inhumane, and after that, just completely nonsensical. And that's where we are, and have been for a long time.
Well, I think ultimately, we've gotten way off the topic of the sexual law, but my point...
We really have.
I think ultimately, what you need to do is get politicians to... You need to reestablish voting rights for prisoners. And then all of a sudden, there'll be a lot more accountability. Then all of a sudden, you'd see politicians going into prisons. There's a lot of votes they'd pick up on the right and on the left. And I think you'd see people having to stump in San Quentin, because then the plus as a incarcerated person, when you get out, you're not coming out to a society that you don't feel like you had a hand in building. You're coming out to a society that you felt like, hey, I voted on these things. I'm part of the society. I'm not just some random guy that people hate all of us. So I think ultimately, if that's the change you're talking about, then that's kind of the change. We'll never get there. What politicians put their neck out for that, but ultimately, I think that's what would be the most helpful.
Well, it's been talked about a lot lately.
Yeah, there's actually a place, a movement, or I forget what it's called, but their website's Initiate Justice, and their whole thing is trying to get that on the proposition in California, trying to get it so that voting rights are restored for people when they get out of prison, so they can still, even if you're a felon, depending on what you did, you still can vote.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it as a sweeping, or as a, I guess, all-encompassing law. I feel like there are a lot of criminals who can't vote who should be able to vote for sure, especially a lot of the drug ones, or someone who robbed a post office and stole a stamp or something. I mean, there are things that you can lose your voting rights for that are really silly.
But at the same time, you could make the argument that it makes the most sense, even for the shittiest people, to vote, especially when they're in prison, because wouldn't you rather them talk about that than about...
I'm thinking of, do you want Charles Manson voting?
I mean...
Is that a good idea?
I don't want that, but at the same time, he is part of the citizenry. Sorry, we've gotten way off topic.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
Yeah.
Next question comes from CA, a 15-year-old heterosexual male. Aloha, awkward human coworkers. I got this weird family situation going on that maybe you can help with. So, my whole life, my mom made breakfast every morning and still does. But 2 weeks ago, she just gave us cheese for breakfast. Not on egg or toast, it's just cheese by itself. She slices it sometimes, I guess. On day one, I'm like, Mom, what's up with the cheese? And she's like, shut up and eat your breakfast. She didn't say shut up, but she was in a mood. So I thought she was pregnant or something because she didn't eat cheese a lot before this. But now it's cheese all mornings, every morning. 3 days of cheese. I'm like, Mom, why cheese again? She gives me the same answer. So I'm like, Mom, are you pregnant? Her face turned into a raisin. So I'm like, okay, fine, Jesus. My dad goes to work early, so I never see him in the morning. And my little sister is 4, so she doesn't care. I asked my dad about the cheese after school, and he said, we just got a Sam's Club membership. That's an explanation. So I'm like, Dad, that is not an explanation. And he's like, talk to your mother. I tried, Dad. What the fuck? I keep asking, but they just keep giving me bogus answers all the time. Why is this happening? I don't get it.
You mean happening?
That's quite an interesting situation you're in, CA.
I mean, if money's okay, I don't know. I mean, like, that's the only thing that comes to mind to me is like, oh, we're poor,
But there are cheaper breakfasts than cheese that make more
not
sense.
If you're getting free government cheese. That's why I thought of that. But I mean, like, I don't even know where you get
they
government cheese.
just got a Sam's Club membership, so they can't be that poor, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, maybe that was what they got with their new tax cut.
I feel like toast with peanut butter is a cheaper breakfast than cheese is, and will last you a lot longer because you can get a loaf of bread for like $1.50, and there might be like 25 pieces of bread, and then a jar of peanut butter will last forever. The cheese is gonna run out after you finish cutting up the cheese. Like there's only so much value in cheese unless you're giving people a very, very small amount. So it's gonna be a more nutritious, filling breakfast
Gross breakfast
to do like toast and peanut butter.
It's a bomb in your stomach the whole day.
Well, and it's kind of like you have to eat a fair amount of cheese for it to be filling. Like it's weird to just eat on its own with no fiber, no carbs, no fruit.
I like how she says she slices it sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. Like that would make it better.
Does that mean like the knife went in it, but she's like,
it's not
fuck it?
It's not a block of cheese. It's like some slices, some whole pieces.
Maybe mom's on just a
Why isn't there toast with it?
I don't know.
I love cheese, but I tend to eat it with bread or crackers or something.
I mean,
or the Sam's Club thing might be the perfect explanation, actually, because the explanation is they bought in bulk. Did they just get the Sam's Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got excited. They go there. She's like, "Oh, all this
Gotta
cheese
eat it
for
now?
$5." But now, like, we gotta get rid of this cheese because it's gonna go bad.
Why are they being so weird about it?
And
though?
why aren't they putting it on bread?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not a weird request to be like, "Hey, I want something other than cheese with my breakfast." But also, you're 15 and could make your own breakfast, so maybe they're trying to imply that. And I mean, I think it's kind of a fucked up way of doing it, especially because you're asking.
Well, also, she doesn't say, hey, there's more stuff in the fridge if you want to make it. She's like, shut up and eat the cheese.
Yeah. Did you do something? I mean, like, I don't know why anyone would do this.
But his sister also gets cheese. She just doesn't care because she's 4.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe there's some like he went to the doctor recently and the doctor's like, you need more cheese. In
I want
to
observe this breakfast table one day. I mean, sounds fascinating.
This kid should send a picture and send it in.
Most 15-year-olds do not write in about being served cheese for breakfast. This is very intriguing to me.
Yeah. I mean, if you do want to send in a video or picture, like, please do. I just say, what is the law around that? Like, can kids do that?
What?
If they recorded their breakfast or something, or can they take pictures of their family and send them to people for a show? And like, would we be in trouble if we used that? I guess we could just see it and not show it.
I think if somebody took a video or picture, then they own it because they're the one who took it. Then they'd have to give you permission, and then I think.
Yeah, but they would also have to get consent from the people in the photo.
Oh yeah, because this person's fit. No, I don't think so.
No, they would anyway. I mean, I'm just speaking from like clearing rights for stuff. Yeah, although I don't know if it would be considered news in this situation. Okay, well, we'll talk to a lawyer, but if you have a photo, we'll figure out something, or video, we'll figure out something.
In the meantime, since this kid is being served cheese literally every day, thoughts on how to help him? A few things come to mind for me.
Well, yeah, just make your own breakfast.
Well, one, there might not be anything else. Like, if there's literally just cheese and everything else is not breakfast food.
Have some money.
You could say, hey, I'm not really into this cheese thing. It's totally fine if you want to eat it, but can I have a little bit of money? I'm going to pick some stuff up. You know, maybe I'll make breakfast for you tomorrow and it'll be something different. Maybe if you approach it and that kind of like, oh, I want to do something nice for the family. Maybe you don't have time to cook, Mom, because you keep serving us cheese.
That's what makes me think that this is some sort of ploy to get him to do that.
Option 2, if for some reason she really doesn't want to eat anything other than cheese and she wants to keep serving it, you could just say that you need lunch money and then use part of your lunch money to get yourself some breakfast.
Yeah.
A lot of schools have like breakfast options that you can buy.
My school like just gave us food, so I'm sure my parents paid for it, but I think it depends on the school. But if that's a good idea if it's possible. I mean, there may be an allowance that he's old enough to work. So you could go, get a part-time job for shit money. I will say from experience, when I started working, when I started working before I was 15, but when I started working legally, the make sure you know how, like what is getting taken out of your paycheck, because I went to go work at a grocery store and I had to join the grocers union, and I also was only allowed to have a 15-minute break, and there was nowhere to put my food. Like, figure out what's going to happen at that job first, because I made like $3 an hour when all was said and done because of everything that came out of my paycheck.
Yeah, and that's not worth it for breakfast.
I made like $200 over the summer because I spent it all on food to eat during the day at the grocery store, because you'd only get a 5% discount on groceries, even if it was for your lunch, and you couldn't eat in the restaurant because you didn't have enough time. Even if you ordered ahead, there wasn't enough time. And if you got a 15-minute break, you'd have to work 8 hours to get a full half an hour as a total break. But they'd normally book you for 7.5, so they only have to give you two 15-minute breaks apart, because they didn't want you off the floor for that long. So it was impossible to eat because they wouldn't let you bring your food and put it in the fridge.
Well, my third suggestion is, since they have this great new Sam's Club membership, maybe next time you can offer to go with your dad or mom or whoever grocery shops, and then you get yourself a big old box of cereal and a big old thing of milk, and that'll be like $4 more on their grocery bill, and that's breakfast for like 2 weeks.
The more we talk about this, the more this sounds like an ingenious plot by his parents to get him more involved with the family.
But what I don't get is, why are they serving cheese to the 4-year-old as well? They don't want the 4-year-old to be more involved.
They gotta sell it.
So that's why the mom is also eating the cheese? Is like, oh, I'll just pretend I want this?
The dad's not eating it because we know he's not there, or we don't know if he's eating it or not, but presumably he, doesn't want to. We don't know if the mom's eating it. She's just serving it.
I thought she was eating it because he said, oh, I think it's because she's pregnant and she wants cheese. So I imagine that she was also sitting down to breakfast with them and eating the cheese.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it doesn't seem like she is pregnant.
Well, her face turned into a raisin, so that could be either. It could be that she's mad for asking, or it could be that she doesn't want to reveal that yet, and so she scrunched her face up like, meh.
It sounds to me like that she's not pleased with the question.
Right, but she could be unpleased because she doesn't want another kid and she's having it anyways.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just...
She could be like, I have a 15-year-old and a 4-year-old, and now I have to have another kid, and I'm just going to eat fucking cheese for 9 months. I don't give a fuck.
Well, maybe the cheese is like good cheese, so you could like put it in a handkerchief, take it to school, and find the snobby kid and sell him the cheese.
CA, do your parents talk to you more than this usually? Like, is there anything else that's weird?
Well, he seems to think his dad's reaction was really weird, because he's like, that's not an explanation. I already talked to mom, what the fuck? But he just keeps giving him bonus answers, and he's like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times has that happened with your parents where you're like, what the fuck was this? It like, in the moment, I always feel like I look back where I responded less than I would have wanted to after thinking about it. And then I'm like, well, I just said this, and then I try to think, why was my behavior that? Because now that I'm thinking about it logically, I would have done this instead. But a lot of the time, you're like bewildered by the moment. Although I would think he's had enough practice being bewildered by the moment now, by the time he got to his dad. But also, as a 15-year-old, like, you haven't lived as long as we have, I guess, and so maybe it's that bewilderment is, going to stick around longer. He needs more experience. I don't know.
I think Sam's Club is an explanation, in my opinion. I think that is a very legit explanation. They bought too much cheese and they're just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, but why not just say we got a Sam's Club membership and we bought too much cheese? Why leave?
And we forgot to get bread. Or anything else to serve for breakfast.
I don't have an answer for that. Those are all good questions.
It's a legit portion of the explanation.
Yeah, it's a portion, because I've definitely been in situations where I have a lot of something, and as a younger person than this mom, I have found many creative ways to use it without just putting it on a plate. I feel like you're a parent to a 15-year-old, you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'll make a bunch of omelets, or I'll slice it up and give it him for lunch with ham and crackers. Like, you're not just like, ugh, I have a block of cheese, I gotta cut it up every day and put it on a plate. Like, I just feel like that's not something who's been like, someone who's been making meals for someone for 15 years doesn't suddenly just say like, whatever, I'm just gonna put cheese on a plate.
Maybe it's a twofer, where they did get too much stuff at Sam's Club because they're expecting a baby and she's super hungry all the time, so maybe it's
right both. And she's like over making breakfast because she's pregnant. Yeah, it could be.
Maybe they spent their food budget at Sam's Club preparing for the baby, and then they're like, oh, we got all this cheese, but now we can't afford other food. I guess we'll just eat cheese for breakfast every day.
Sam's Club, I don't know if it's the same as it is in Costco, but it's like there's like a yearly membership. So
Right, which is
if
why I
you
don't think
just
it's a
join-
money issue because they just got this membership.
Yeah, but those memberships are really cheap.
But if you're that poor, then you're on food stamps. You're
Yeah.
not getting a Sam's Club membership that you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Who knows? But CA, like, I think, let us know what else is going on. Any other developments?
Find out if you can go to Sam's Club with them, offer to cook breakfast, or worst case scenario, ask for a little bit more lunch money or allowance so you can get yourself something other than
Or
cheese.
sell the cheese.
Or trade the cheese.
Trade the cheese.
You know, we used to trade snacks all the time and be get
Yeah.
yourself a fruit
Oh,
roll
yeah,
up
you
for
know-
the cheese.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe there's a friend who only has healthy food sent with him every day, and you want to get some of that food to mix with your cheese.
You know, like an apple.
Take it to go. Say like, thanks, Mom, for the breakfast cheese. I'll just eat this on the way to school. And then meet up with that friend. You give them a little cheese. They give you a little celery and kale or something. And neither of you are really happy, but at least it's a more diverse meal.
Yeah, I dig it.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else we could help you yet, but please write in with more information because this is fascinating. All right, last one comes from Boy Crazy, who is also 27, like Murray, but a homosexual. I was a closet gay for half of high school, and then I got over it for a boy when I met when I was 17. He dumped me because I was boy crazy. Now 10 years have passed, and nothing has changed one bit. I wasn't a cheater or nothing like that. I think about cute boys all the time. I got posters of boys in underwear like Calvin Klein ads, but not Bieber. I got standards. Okay. Is that because they made his dick bigger? Or because he's Bieber? Probably
He's
because
I
he's
think.
Bieber, yeah. Okay, so he's got those up in his room and art in the kitchen. Boys are my screensaver. Boys are my binder cover. Why do you...
Yeah, why are you still in a binder at
Binder.
27?
Yeah, I have a binder full of stickers, but that's just an organizational thing. My license plate says I love boys. The love is a heart symbol, though. That's fine for hookups, but people don't like to come to my house because of all the boys. My car gets keyed a lot. I got fired from a spa one time because of... This reminds me of Benji a little bit. Just the way he's talking. One time because of my computer wallpaper, even though it was a hot boy in the spa. Not that spa, but like one I found from Googling. I'm not some creeper. Yeah, so I am boy crazy and can't stop. What do? I try to tone it down, but then I get crazier. Do you get boy crazier? This is like so much boy crazy. Okay, is there some way I can be boy crazy but not make it be a problem for my personal relationships or my whole life? Well, it seems like even if it's not actual boys, but adult boys.
I'm making that assumption.
Well, I'm assuming Calvin Klein ads.
Yeah.
But yeah, as presuming that these are adult men actually that we're talking about, which I think is a safe assumption here. It seems that there's a stigma around that, even if you're not molesting children. But we got it out of the way earlier, either way. So hooray for us. Is there somewhere he could put this shit? I feel like giving an obvious answer here is not going to help because he has to have thought of like putting the pictures of the boys somewhere less obvious, or maybe you get one of those. I don't know what they are, but I don't even know if they make them anymore. But those things where it's like there's a slide on it and it's one picture, but it's like blinds, and then you put the slide down and it changes to a different picture. So you could just swap them every time someone comes
I
over.
don't know if that's still a thing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he could probably find someone on Etsy who makes them,
Right.
but
Or the heart of the problem.
Well, the problem is you should be able to go to your job without staring at pictures of boys, right?
Yeah. I mean, like at this point, this guy's
It's gotten you fired.
It's gotten ridiculous.
You
Yeah.
can do that in the comfort of your own home.
It's just like the guy.
But he
earlier
can't
with
do
the
it in his
porn
home.
in the gym.
Yeah, but it sounds
gotta-
like he can't. I should have remembered this question when you were talking about that. I forgot.
Yeah, but you got to. This guy's got to do it at home. I mean, now it's spilling.
But he
into
is.
his
It
life.
sounds like the home is the problem too.
Right, but like it's spilling now. It's uncontainable. It's spilling into his life. It's got him fired.
Yeah, I mean, get rid of the license plate if your car is getting keyed because that's expensive. And the amount of money you're probably paying for all this damage, you could buy a Microsoft HoloLens and just project that reality onto your eyeballs instead of actually like having everyone else see it. And you know, it's cool if you're into what you're into if it's not actually harming anybody, but clearly it's causing a problem for you. So like, you obviously have to tone it down, and you know that. I don't think necessarily buying a $3,000 mixed reality headset is the answer. Maybe get a cheaper
Or a sex doll.
Yeah, and that's even more. But I mean, you could get a cheap computer tethered one. I mean, I don't know what kind of porn you can stick in that. I think, you know, virtual reality might be a pseudo solution, especially since you could do that with your phone and no one will see it. You just got to keep the sound off, which doesn't sound like you have an issue with that.
I think this guy needs
A
to
therapist.
get a hobby.
I was just gonna say, I
Because-
think he needs more hobbies.
Yeah, you just need more things
Yeah.
in your life. Because right now, it
But-
sounds like your identity is all. If they're like, "Hey, boy, crazy,"
Yeah.
someone's like, "Oh, what do you know about boy crazy?" "Oh, he likes boys," and like that's it. So now
Yeah.
your sexual orientation is all people. It's your identity. There's nothing else about
Yeah.
you. There's not that you like books. There's not that you like movies. It's just like, oh, he
He
likes boys.
likes movies about boys.
That's all there is to him. You need more in your life, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he has that. I don't know. But if you don't, I totally agree with that. But I do think I didn't throw out therapy as a, you know, like to be condescending or a joke or anything. I felt like it came off that way when I said it. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to somebody about it so you could actually explore why this is so important to you. And
But
It
tone
just seems
down.
like if the problem is that it's like his whole life,
Mhm.
then there must be some sort of boredom in his life that he's filling with this, right? Like
Mhm.
if he's at work and he can't stop thinking about boys, his work is not that engrossing to him.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
how engrossing can it be if you work at a spa?
Right, so then
presumably
maybe
at a desk in the spa.
The answer is he needs to find a more fulfilling career
Mhm.
or like be working towards something that he cares about instead of just like a lot of people, you know, their jobs suck and so whatever they like is like what they think about. And they're like, ugh, I just want to play video games. So like they don't have to work and they just play video games until they have to go home or whatever. But
Yeah.
this person's answer is boys.
Yeah.
So if maybe he was working towards something that he cared about and not just trying to fill his
If your
time.
boyfriend when you're talking about the games.
Oh, no, he doesn't play video games at work.
Oh, no, I thought you can't wait to get home to play video games.
Oh, no, I meant like some people have like mindless jobs and they just like play games on their phone all day or whatever because they're like,
oh, maybe
this
we're
is
talking
what I
about
want
my
to be
boyfriend.
doing.
The donut.
Right. The two-fold donut. Or they're on Instagram all day at work or like whatever the fuck it is that they do. Like I imagine that at a spa, there's a lot of downtime when you're like not checking in clients or whatever.
Mhm.
So maybe if you had something that was like a little bit more high stress or like complex, then you would wait until you're home to relax and think about the boys, you know?
Yeah. And I had mentioned while I was reading this that it reminded me of Benji, who was someone I went on a date with who was obsessed with, who fetishized rainbow socks, like knee-high socks, I think they were. You could read about it in our book, The Awkward Human Survival Guide, which I don't think Benji is aware is he's in. Although, as usual, we don't mention people in an identifying way.
I thought, did we change his name?
Probably.
I'm not sure I'm going to find out.
Yeah. So, whatever his name may be, I mean, you'll know when you hear the story in there. But he was into that, which is fine. But he worked in a line of work that wasn't fulfilling for him, and then he ended up opening up a sock store, which was very fulfilling to him for, I think, at this point, obvious reasons.
Wait, that's real? We didn't make that up?
No, remember when I was trying to figure out where the book came from, the Where Did
Yeah.
I Come From book, and I found out it was him, and then I caught up with him a little bit after that, because he turned out to be the one who sent it. If anyone, I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but if anyone remembers this Where Did I Come From book that mysteriously showed up on my doorstep one day when I was in San Francisco with my name written on a FedEx envelope, so someone clearly dropped it off and knew how to get into the gate. It took me forever to figure out who it was. I didn't think Benji would want to talk to me again because he was kind of mad at me for, he felt I strung him along. And when I was just like, he was into some things that I wasn't into and I didn't want to go there. We'll say that. I mean, that's the piece of it that I'm going to share. That's not that I'm making something up. And so he is, I didn't think he would talk to me, so I never asked him. But then after a while, I was like, I just got to know. So I asked him, and he said, oh, yeah, that was me. And he wasn't upset. And I was, I had assumed that he wouldn't want to talk. But as many people do, they get over whatever they were mad about after a little while. And this has definitely been a while. So I found out he had sent the book, and he told me about the sock store he opened up, or I found it. I think I found the sock store and asked him about it, actually, because I was trying to make sure his number was still the same.
So you're saying this guy should open up a hot boys store?
I mean, I don't think you could do that. Maybe in
Just
Vegas.
like photos of hot boys.
But I mean, there are plenty of sex-oriented businesses for gay people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexy. It was so like our friend Steven H. Garcia, erotic artist. He draws pictures of nude and almost nude video game and superhero characters because that's what he's into. And I don't think he's making a full living off of that yet, but a lot of his income comes from that, and he's been growing, and getting better, and being able to pay more of the bills with it. And eventually, I think it will be his full-time career, because he's pretty much almost there. So you've got options. It's not like that. It's not like you can't figure out some. Maybe you start with the hobby and then figure out the business. If you don't have a hobby to combine with your boy craziness.
My hobby suggestion would be to have it nothing to do with boys or like.
Oh yeah, no, the hobby shouldn't.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
he might be able to combine like
If his hobby
craft
is,
airplanes
like,
and
being
boys.
a businessman. If he's like, my hobby is I love sales, then yes, obviously opening up a store, slam dunk idea.
Or you have spa experience. If you love spas, then
A bathhouse.
I know. I thought of a bathhouse, and I was like, "That's not a good recommendation."
Yeah, but maybe a spa where it's you're not gonna have sex
Are there
in the spa.
gay spas?
I'm sure there've got to be.
But I mean that are not sex driven, that are like straight up spas,
Only for gay.
but specifically for the gay community.
Well, I think I mean, none of them are sex driven, but like, there's I don't remember if it was LA Fitness or whatever, but in WeHo there are stories of cum scented locker rooms in WeHo from all the sex that happens there that's not supposed to. It's just kind of like, I think some places just people decide that's what's gonna go down there. And
there was a steam room at a West Hollywood gym I used to go to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gay guys went to it, like the most fit gay guys you've ever seen in your life. Put me to shame. And I would always use the steam room, and it didn't smell anything, but I always thought, I was like, this would be like a slam dunk. If some guy and some other guy would have covert have sex, it would be in this steam room that I was currently.
because you can't see.
You couldn't see anything. Like, until the door opened and like a little steam came out, that you could see everybody.
Yeah.
But like when the door was closed, I couldn't see 2 feet in front of me.
You sit in the secret corner, and I mean, you already got the moisturizing nature of the steam. Yeah, I mean, there's no. Assuming that a hand job is all you're going for.
Wants to do that, great, go for it.
I mean, that's
I'm sure they did it. I'm sure they did it in front of me, and I just didn't even know. 'Cause, like, I couldn't see. I couldn't hear anything either. It's just all you heard was.
Wow.
It's a great steam room.
Well, I guess that works then,
I like it.
as long as no one smells
I didn't.
or smells unusual.
No, I mean it's just also like it's just hot
It's
air
so
going
steamy,
up your nose.
yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't smell it. And
Maybe
most of
that's
the time
why
I
they
would go in
fuck
the
in
snow-
steam rooms.
Huh?
Maybe that's why people fuck in steam rooms. I mean,
Well, I would
you're
always go
naturally
just 'cause, like, if I was
lubricated.
congested, it would just get everything out of my nose, which is great. And
Yeah.
it's great for your skin.
Oh
Good
yeah.
for your mood.
I irrigated with hot water today. Boiled everything out of my nose. I feel so much better.
Like
it was
actually hot,
Like a
not
neti
like
pot?
warm.
yeah, like actual hot.
Oh, I
Like
can't do that.
tolerable. Oh, it wasn't comfortable, but it was worth it because I've been having trouble getting some stuff out, and just every morning it's like these giant balls of gross stuff come out, and it's like orange. It's I know.
Sounds like you should go to the doctor.
I'm gonna be there on Tuesday.
Perfect.
I figured I had an appointment on Tuesday anyway because I gotta go every month. But there's like the what do you call it? I figured if this is not better in a week, well then I need to go to the doctor. So
Right.
I'll just deal with it on Tuesday.
Perfect.
So I'm dealing with it on Tuesday.
I once irrigated my nose recently and blew out a piece of snot that was the entire length of the tissue and like half an inch wide, and I almost took a picture of it because I was like, ugh, it all came out. I was so happy it all came out at once.
I would have totally taken a picture of that because I'd be impressed.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's just like
One
you're
chunk.
wiping it and it just keeps going on
Yeah.
and on and on until the tissue ends.
Impressive. Well, boy crazy, tone it down. That's why.
Yeah, I mean I think
Get a grip,
we
dude.
all know that needs to happen, including
Yeah.
him. But he hopefully there've been some suggestions here that are useful.
I mean,
I
I
don't
would
know.
say my suggestion wasn't useful. My suggestion is a suggestion my dad's gives, which is like, get a grip. You're an adult.
Oh yeah,
Figure it out.
what
Let's
is
get a
it? What,
steamer.
Yeah.
What-
if
what
you're
is-
gonna do it a steamer.
what is the deal with dads and that being the advice? It's just it's like I have a problem. Get over it. Oh, thanks, Dad. That's help. That's really
You know,
helpful.
I used to be annoyed about it, but like the older I get, the more I really appreciate that advice, because it's just, you know, like the world doesn't evolve around your problems. And
Oh
like,
yeah, no, but I'm like, usually this advice comes after like I've been trying for 2 months to get an appointment with a doctor, or I've been like he asks how's your health, and I say well this isn't going well for
Right.
that reason. Then he's like well have you tried asking them to call you back or whatever?
Right.
I'm like no that hasn't come up.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of that is like they don't know. They're just like
He knows because I tell him every time.
I know, but like,
it
they don't
happens
know
every
how-
2
He
weeks.
doesn't know how to help. That's what I mean. Like there's nothing.
Yeah,
to
just
help.
don't help. Just ask how I'm doing and then shut up.
Well, you want to vent, and I think the dad.
I don't want to vent. I don't even want to talk about it. He asks me.
Because that's probably what else do you guys talk about?
I would talk about so many other things. I have tried to talk about interesting things that I want to talk about, and he just shuts down. I mean, like some of it's physics, so he doesn't want to discuss that because he doesn't get it. And I understand that, but there are also some things I can talk to him about that he will understand. And I don't.
So my dad will always talk to me
It's-
about the economy, and I'm just like, I don't. Like,
See-
I'll talk until now all of a sudden I don't know what I'm talking about, and you know more. Than
I will
me,
listen
and
to
I don't-
literally anything he wants to say, pretty much. Unless it's like negative about somebody that I like or myself. But other than that, like he'll talk about the economy, he'll talk about real estate, he'll talk about development projects he's working on, he'll talk about stuff I don't want to know about that's personal, but I'm like, okay, this is, then he
It's
always,
dad's talk, man. It's dad talk.
well, but he's also like, I'm I'm your dad, not your friend. He likes to mention that a lot.
That's slam dunk dad talk right there. That's more
Yeah,
dad
it's
talk.
like, well, then don't talk to me like you're my friend then. I mean, I didn't ask you for one or the other. Like, I don't give a shit. Just like,
Again, that's a great thing about dad talk. It's masquerading. It's a Trojan horse of like,
I-
hey buddy, how's it
It's
going?
not-
And you're like,
but
oh
it's
man,
not
pretty
great.
good. And he's like, I'm your dad. I'm not your friend.
yeah,
It's always like that.
yeah. And if it the way you're doing it, that sounds hilarious, and I would enjoy that. It's like, I don't know.
There's always like a little level of condescension in dad talk, you know.
Maybe we should let our listeners go since we've now moved past the question answering phase of the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, if you guys have a question you want to ask, check out the new awkward.email. It's available at, you guessed it, awkward.email on your web browser. You can still call 509-AWKWARD. You can still send email to questions@awkwardhuman.com, but they all go into one central database now. It's really great. And you can access it at awkward.email, find all your options there. We also put the contact form for Supercharged up there as well. So if you listen to both of those shows, you can access that there, but you can go to awkwardhuman.com/supercharged to submit anything that you want. And lastly, awkwardhuman.com/shop is where we have the new store where we have a bunch of new t-shirts, a bunch of mystery bags, which they're not that much of a mystery. It says what's in them, but it's easier than explaining it right now and going through all the stuff. Some new stickers, cards, artwork, like a ton of shit. So definitely go check it out. We don't want you to buy anything you don't want, but if you do want something, it helps support us and we appreciate it. And we, some of the stuff might seem a little expensive because it's print on demand. We got the price as low as we could without losing money on it. So some of that, if it's expensive, it's not our fault. If you also, if you want a sticker or any of the stuff that we're selling and you can't afford it, let me know that. Or if there's something that you want that we haven't made, let me know that so we can potentially make it if we have time. Or if you can't afford it, we do giveaways sometimes. And if enough people email me saying like, oh, I want this given away, then we'll do a contest or whatever. And it's not that hard for us to give stuff away once in a while. Anyway, thank you for listening. That's the news and our questions for today. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye. You have a question, story, comment, or whatever for the Awkward Human Survival Guide? We want to hear it. We read everything we get on the show, censored for your privacy if you wish, and might laugh about your problem because tragedy loves humor, but genuinely want to help you out. If you've got something to share with us, even if you think it's stupid, send it in as anonymously or proudly as you wish. You can do all of that at awkward.email. You just go to http://awkward.email. Oh yeah, and watch the videos on YouTube, youtube.com/awkwardhuman.